Hello, and welcome to the Moncast.
A podcast where we watch Pokemon and Digimon in tandem and discuss the similarities and the differences that they share. I always add D, it's similarities and difference. Your name's Stevie, by the way.
Yep, and yours is Sam.
Yes, it is.
And the score currently stands at 24-23 to Digimon. And this time we are watching episode 48, My Sister's Keeper, and Who Gets to Keep Togepi.
It's so weird to hear that Digimon's winning.
That hardly ever happens. Admonistration across the nation. This is a theme song. It's not very long.
Admon.
We've got quite a lot of Admon because it's been several weeks since we recorded.
I'm so glad you keep track of this because it would have all just been lost to the internet to me.
We've just got lots of Twitter and nothing else. So I'm literally just scrolling up through our notifications. So first of all, Cyber Connor, who is no longer Cool Christmas because it's not Cool Christmas anymore, Cyber Connor says that the Moncast is haunted with the ghost of Butterfree.
Oh, is that because of that weird noise that was in the last episode?
I don't understand where that noise came from still.
Like, we've had weird noises whilst we record before, and it's always been in this room that I'm currently sat in, which is my bedroom. Like, weird stuff happens when we record in this room. But that was weird, because, like, I couldn't hear it at the time. I would have heard it if it was that loud, but for some reason it's just there.
Yeah, it was from my track, but I didn't hear it, and I don't know what it could have been on my end.
But it was on your end? I thought it was on my end.
No, the weird sound was from my recording.
Oh, okay.
So I honestly have no idea where it came from.
But yeah, so we've had weird things happen before. Like, we had that weird video of the kids saying about how they feel as fresh as a washed potato. So yeah, we have a spoopy podcast. So spoopy.
Yeah, but I don't think it's the ghost of Butterfree, mainly because Butterfree went off to raise a family and isn't dead. Connor tries to convince me otherwise. He said that Butterfree is dead and he saw it happen. Another casualty of the Houndours of Tindalos.
I don't know what that is.
Neither do I. I refuse to believe that Butterfree is dead.
From the top of my head, I feel like it's a Lord of the Rings reference. That's just because I don't know.
The Houndours.
I think it's the Hounds or like Cerberus or something. I don't know, but
I don't know either. But Butterfree, it's alive and well. It's just Butterfree's social life that is dead. Too busy raising the kids. Next is from May from Lost in Translation Man, who says, what if Tai was meant to have two partners, but Willis had two and it ended badly, and because of that the holy beasts forced them apart.
So what May's saying is that because they saw the Digimon the same time Willis got his Digimon?
I think they're saying that because Willis had two and it ended badly, the holy beasts made sure that Tai didn't have two. His two were supposed to be Agumon and Leomon.
Oh, yeah, okay, well...
But Agumon and Leomon aren't really paired that well. I think Leomon's older.
We also don't know what Leomon's child form is, so... Well,
it's usually a Lekmon, isn't it?
Is it? Oh, that would have been good. I like a Lekmon.
Lekmon is cool.
I think they should do a season where someone's got two Digimon as partners.
At least they're doing a video game with it.
Yes, they are. Next Order, which I know you don't want to do news, but it's out in like 3 days.
Yay!
Which I'm excited for.
I'm excited. New Digimon game.
They also have the V-Pets though, which will be the same thing where you can raise two Digimons on that, so you can have two partners there, which is so good.
Even more multitasking and constantly checking your Tamagotchis.
It's constant beeping.
And the next thing that they say is that Housemon is a puppet that Puppetmon is controlling. That's what they say. They have no evidence.
I can't remember because it's been that long. Housemon, is it called Housemon in the episode?
I don't think it's referred to as Housemon, like anywhere but the wikis.
Okay, I'd rather not believe the wiki then, it's that thing, but...
You have to believe what your heart says. And mine says that Housemon is real.
My heart says that that's one of Puppetmon's abilities, is to take like inanimate objects and make them move realistically. So, like, yeah, I think Housemon is a giant puppet. Or maybe Housemon is actually Puppetmon, and then Puppetmon is actually just a puppet that Housemon's controlling.
Ooh.
Oh, we don't know.
Maybe they never actually defeated Puppetmon. Housemon was the real Dark Master all along. We've come up with so many dumb theories.
Yes, it's the best.
Tai should have Leomon. Miko the cat is the 8th Digidestined.
To be fair, I would have liked to see Tai with Leomon. I say, but also no, because that means there wouldn't be any Greymon, so...
Yeah, I like Greymon. He's cool, but Leomon is also cool.
Leomon and Courage, it goes together quite well, like a brave lion and stuff.
Yeah, but also his ultimate forms are a bit boring. Just like Pangemon is literally just bigger Leomon.
Which one's Pangemon?
It's like the light grey, bigger version of Leomon.
Oh yeah. Or we could have had Grapleomon.
But I don't think Grapleomon existed yet.
Lodaleomon?
I don't know Lodaleomon.
It's like Grapleomon, but on all fours and yellow. But yeah, no, I like Leomon. It would have been good to have. Or I like Banjo Leomon a lot as well.
Oh yeah, Bancho Leomon's the guy, the JoJo Bizarre's Adventure character.
Yes, maybe. It certainly is one of them.
Just Guy Leomon.
Next bit of stuff.
So when I tweeted out asking for a demonstration and messages and things, May, again, replied, I'm not trying to say that like it's a bad thing, it's a good thing. They just came out with the awful tone of voice. But yeah, they say, I missed you guys. Which show is better with handling female characters? Pokemon or Digimon? And this is a very good question, because I think that they both do a rubbish job, really.
Yeah, they're both bad, but I think I have an opinion, like I know what my answer is. Have you got an answer? Mine's Digimon, by the way, and I'll explain it once I hear.
You think Digimon's better? Okay, you can go first.
Okay, well, they've got more than one female character. They've got Kari, they've got Sora, they've got Mimi. And yes, they have problems themselves, but most of that's because of the dub writing. But we also get introduced to other female characters, like we get Izzy's mom, who's got it going on. We meet Mimi's mom, we meet Tai's mom. You know, we see so many other characters. A lot of them are mums, but then the story focuses on these young kids. So of course, if we're going to meet anybody, it'll be their parent. But then in Pokemon, we get the girl in the episode, and immediately, and it's every single time, unless it's an old lady who is a cranky old lady. You never get an older woman. It's either someone who could be in their like late 20s, early 30s, or an 80-year-old crazy lady who's small. No in between. And if it's the first category, immediately Brock will flirt with them.
Especially when they're in uniform.
The only one, like the only person I feel like gets fleshed out enough is Misty, but then they don't have as much personality as the people in Digimon. We know so much about their backstory, and we care. I don't know about you, but I care so much more about the characters in Digimon than I do in Pokemon.
Yeah, I care a lot more about Mimi, for example, than Misty.
Yeah, I care much more about Mimi than I do about Ash. I really enjoy Mimi's arc and what's going on with Mimi. Like, Misty hasn't got an arc. All we've had her reveal information about herself. Like, we've learned that she's a sister from 3 other sisters from the Cerulean City Gym. She likes water-type Pokemon. Name another thing about her.
She's a girl.
She has an egg and a duck, but there's nothing else. There's nothing else to her, really.
She argues a lot.
She'll argue with Ash, but that's because he can't argue with Brock, because Brock's a guy.
And they're all too dude bro.
They don't even have good conversations between each other. They're quite insular when they have conversations, only about the thing that's happening right now. They don't really talk about each other's lives, whilst in Digimon we have had them say, you know, like, talking about their families and what they miss when they're going to go, like, because they're not home, you know, what they're going to enjoy when they go home and stuff. We have that. We have nice character development, and as a part of that, all the women in Digimon have got much more to them. Even Sora, who is potentially the least developed person, has had a story arc. She's had personal struggle. She's had a journey to go through. She's so much more different than she was at the start, where she was quite distant to the concept of love. She embraces that concept now. She's made a sort of peace with her mum. You know, she accepts her friends for who she accepts Beomon for being the really affectionate Digimon that they are, you know. And we've got Misty, who in the same amount of episodes has gone from Misty to Misty plus Egg.
I think a good way to put this is, well, a good way to think about it is, think about the female characters in Digimon, and you could probably think of an interest that they have outside of Digimon. But Misty is just, she's likes water Pokemon. I don't know what else she does.
I was thinking about this, and I was going to mention it in this episode, but it doesn't really become relevant in this episode. Like, I thought about it before I watched these episodes, and I was going to mention it in the next episode, but it doesn't become a relevant point because what happens structure-wise in Pokemon doesn't really make sense. But what I've noticed with Pokemon is, like, the characters aren't important. They're a framework to show you the new monster. Like, Ash, Brock, and Misty don't really have personality because they're literally just there to be the ones that we follow to see the next thing. They don't get development because we're not supposed to care about them. We're supposed to care about the new monsters that we see. With Digimon, like, we actually care about these people because the point is we're watching their journey and their struggle from being taken to this world to saving the world. And in Pokemon, we literally get, here's a kid, he's going to go out and do something. And it's like, it's so vague. And he hasn't done the thing in so many episodes now. He doesn't do the thing in this episode either.
He says he's going to.
Yeah, he mentions it, but they don't do the thing yet. We've got 7 episodes left of this before he can do a thing. I'd love to see, at the end of this this season, I would like us to go through, like, have the list of every episode of Pokemon. Just go through the title so we can remember each episode. And if it's a filler episode, remove it and see how many episodes we get left. Like, I can guarantee we'll end up with about 15, 20 episodes.
I suppose we can do that. It's not hard. I've got the list.
So yes, May, in short, Digimon is better with representation. Yes, it's not good representation because,
It's still a bit cliche.
they have problems, yeah. But it's better than Misty likes water Pokemon, that's it. Oh look, there's a girl in this episode. Get ready for Brock trying to seduce her or whatever he's aiming to do.
And we didn't even have to mention the female gym leaders and how they just don't get to fight properly.
Well, Ash has never beaten them, has he? They've always given him the badges.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, Digimon.
Yeah, Digimon handles female characters better. That's the conclusion we've come to. And they sent a picture of, I think it's Kokuamon.
Kokuamon, yeah.
And they say, pretend this is a Pokemon. What is its name, type, and what attacks does it have?
Okay, so Kokuamon is one of the most adorable Digimon. It's a rookie level, it's a bug, but it looks like a taser. It's real cute, it's adorable. And I've been thinking about this. We already have a Pokemon like this, which is from the new game, which is Vikavolt, because it's a bug with electricity. Well, Golem, Alolan Golem looks like a taser, because it's rocket electric. So we can't really make it like because we have a taser Pokemon, but we also have a bug with electric. But I think, so for me, I was thinking of what type it would be, and I don't really want to do bug and electric because we have them.
Well, we have Bug Steel as well. I think it would be Bug Steel.
Well, I was thinking steel and bug instead of bug steel, if that makes... it's just arbitrary, but I feel like it would be a steel type predominantly.
Steel Bug.
Either steel bug or steel and electric, but I think steel bug would be better.
You could still learn electric moves.
I was trying to think of a name and what it would be, but it'd be something like a taser bug, but...
Tay-Bug doesn't really work.
But like a stag bug?
Spell that with a Z. Stag.
Just charge bug, because that's essentially what it is.
Coming up with Pokemon names is hard.
But yeah, it would be a steel and bug type, and basically what it does is it goes to like power plants and stuff, and it absorbs electricity, and it can release it, but it runs out of electricity, and it has to almost like Joltik can do, but it does it like it can use it like as a taser and stuff, and it would learn things like discharge and electric terrain. Is that a move? Something like that. But it also learn like steel moves like Steel Wing and stuff. And it would have the ability Volt Absorb. I think that's what it's called, where it can absorb electric attacks. That's what it would have, its ability.
I'm still trying to think of a name.
Yeah, no, a name is really hard. Right, I also want to mention the worst Pokemon name. So basically, to make a Pokemon, what you do is you take a thing and an animal, and you stick it together. For example, you get Charge Bug. It's a bug, and it charges itself with electricity. You get, I can't think of any off the top of my head now. Okay, but the worst one is Talonflame. Because it was like, they couldn't think of like, let's blend the two together, because normally it is like half of one word, half of another, but this is literally just the word talon and the word flame, because the bird has talons and the bird is a flame one.
But it's cool.
It's not, it's a really bad name. It's a cool Pokemon, I really like it, but it's just Talonflame.
Greymon.
Greymon's cool, but also it's not grey.
Lies. Beezer. Mixture of beetle and taser. That just sounds dumb. It sounds like the nickname of a thug in some crime drama.
Cool. Any more, Admon? Or are we done now?
Yeah, so that's everything on Twitter. So now I can plug my stuff that I've been doing on the side while the Moncast has had its holiday. So I've started a new podcast called Year of Backlog with a friend of mine where we talk about video games that we've been playing. Sam thinks it's good, don't you, Sam?
Yes, I do. I have listened to the first episode and it's quite good. And also, you've done an episode about Pokemon and Digimon.
Well, we've done an episode about Pokemon and then another episode that had Digimon in. There's separate episodes.
Still, you've done an episode about Pokemon and Digimon. The and meaning 2 episodes, not as in 1 episode.
But yeah, that's good, and I'll link it in the show notes so that you can go check it out if you're interested.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a listen to, especially if you like video games.
Lots of people like video games.
Lots of people do.
Other things I've been doing, well, I've made some tweaks to Patreon rewards just today, actually, which I've not added anything new. I've just made some things cheaper and simplified it, so there's now just 3 tiers. So you can go have a look at that, because it might be interesting.
It would be good, because you work a lot harder than I do for this. Okay, no, you spend more time, because you do the bulk of the editing.
I do a lot of editing. When we get to the big specials, it's going to be a task.
Well, we've already got an hour, or whatever it is.
It's like an hour and a half just for Pikachu's vacation. I moved the I'll do your drawing a month thing down into the $5 tier because I figured that's not very hard. And I just want to give patrons more stuff and make it less complicated than it was because it had like 5 tiers, but now there's only 3. So it's nice and simple, and you get more stuff, even for just $1. Go check that out if you want to. And the last thing is that if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'll be uploading a Resident Evil 7 playthrough if you want to watch that.
Right, let's get on with the show because we've talked for an hour.
So, on to the episodes.
The first episode we're watching is Who Gets to Keep Togepi?
There's a lot of bickering, back and forth, and even a battle tournament, and eventually it's decided that Misty gets to keep Togepi.
Is it because she's a girl and she has to be the mom?
No. What made you think that, Sam?
You're so defensive then.
Pokemon's not sexist, Sam.
The episode starts with Ash and Co wandering into a random Pokemon Center. Does it say where they are?
Nope.
Okay, no, they're just in a random town in a random Pokemon Center. Even though every time we've had this, they've told us where they are.
It's a small town Pokemon Center.
Which is shaped like Sunamon's tusk or something, isn't it?
The fanciest small town Pokemon Center I've ever seen.
They go to the counter and Nurse Joy asks Ash if Ash is Ash. You know there's more than one person in the world called Ash, you know. It could be anybody, but you know. And apparently she has a message from Professor Oak for him.
Because Pokemon Centers are like the post office.
Yeah, it's not like even a text or anything, because like it's a shame that texting doesn't exist in this world, even though he has got like a Pokedex and he could essentially give that a number and could be able to send messages to it, because if they can transport Pokemon, literally material physical beings, by teleportation, surely they can be able to send a small amount of information.
Nope.
But no, this is the 90s and mobile phones weren't a big thing by then. So he gets a letter from Oak and it's literally like, it's a piece of paper, but it's also animated. So is it like high-tech paper, or it's like a really thin one-page book or something, but it's got Professor Oak with weird animation and some badges on the screen. But it's just a letter saying, Ash, could you give me a call? And I'm like, okay, so how does Oak know where Ash is? Surely he could have sent him a message in another way that involves like a text or anything. But no, it's a weird piece of paper. So Ash gives Oak a phone call.
These are always just the funnest part of every episode. Funnest is a word that I made up.
So he's talking to Ash and he notices how Pikachu's looking really healthy. And like Misty just butts in. She's like, I'm fine too. It's like Oak should be like, who is this? Who is she? Where did you find her? There's just some girl with you. It was just the way she's like, I'm fine too. It's like, okay, passive-aggressive Misty.
Does Ash have to look after Misty as well?
Maybe Misty's a Pokemon.
It wouldn't surprise me.
But yeah, the entire time they're having this conversation, Muck, because Ash caught that Muck in Gringy City.
Gringy City.
That Muck is now at Oak's lab. And it's just tottering around Oak a lot, and it tries to hug him and just climb on him because he loves Oak so much, which I think is really cute.
I think it's karma.
I just think it's really nice if there's a Pokemon which is just sludgy slime, and not a lot of people like it. My partner likes Muck, by the way. He's got an Alolan Muck, and it's one of the best ones.
I reckon this is Ash's way of getting revenge on Oak for sleeping with Ash's mom. Just send over a Pokemon that constantly molests Professor Oak.
But it's just the way it's like, it's a person. I love that person. I'm going to hug that person. It's like, no, don't, because you're poison. You are a walking blob of poison, and you will kill me if I get skin contact with you. I'm going to hug you. No! It's so cute, and I think Muck is so cute.
I prefer Krabby in the calls.
Krabby's cute, but I like Muck because it's essentially a walking duvet of sludge.
And then Oak just basically goes, hey Ash, you've been just procrastinating for too long. You should go get some badges and some Pokemon and do what the whole point of the show is.
You should catch some new Pokemon. And Ash's like, I haven't caught any new Pokemon. And Misty's like, that's right. And it's like, why is she being so passive-aggressive in this phone call for no reason? It's like, oh, Misty's just passive-aggressive to him.
Maybe she's on a period.
Whoa!
Is she 10? I think she's 10.
I think she's 14.
No, Brock's like 15.
So, that's got no correlation to Misty's age at all.
It has, because they're not like a year apart from Brock.
She's older than Ash, though.
Yeah, and Ash definitely isn't on his period.
But she's just being really passive-aggressive this entire phone call for no reason. And then Professor Oak says that Ash has got a Pokedex upgrade. Which is weird, because Oak made the Pokedex, so why would there be a Pokedex upgrade just going around, like, iOS 7 or whatever? And there's just a slot in the phone which opens up, which conveniently fits the Pokedex.
How convenient.
So Ash gets an upgrade, and apparently it also has a new voice, which to me says they couldn't get the original voice actor back, because I don't know.
I didn't notice that it was different even later in the episode.
Yeah, no, Oak says that it's got a new voice. So, and then it cuts to the gang, and they're in like a restaurant or something. Brock is naddying the egg, and this is where they start talking about the egg, because like This has been, 5 minutes of the episode, and all they've done so far is go to a Pokemon Center and Ash gets an upgrade.
Ash doesn't get an upgrade. Ash never upgrades.
Okay, Ash gets a Pokedex upgrade then.
That's better.
It's just so weird. Nothing's happened apart from just the new Pokedex.
He's just checked his messages.
But yeah, they all start wondering what will come out of the egg, because now they know that a Pokemon egg hatches, even though we've got no history of eggs ever happening before. Misty thinks Tentacle will come out. Brock thinks that Golem will come out. And I'm like, do they not understand how eggs work? Because a fully evolved Pokemon will not be born from an egg.
You'd think the breeder would be aware of that.
You'd think, because, if it was a Golem in that egg, wouldn't it be the size of a Golem, not this tiny egg?
I just like how this conversation came about, because they just don't really bring it up.
They've had the egg for about, 5 episodes?
Yeah.
Just suddenly, they're just there with the egg, and they're like, oh, it's time to do an egg episode. Their alarm beeps on their phone, and like, oh, it's the egg episode now. Let's start talking about the egg that's here. Team Rocket are also there, working in the restaurant, which I think is kind of cute, because it's so Team Rocket doesn't pay them enough, or they've done so badly at Team Rocket, they have to get part-time jobs just to make some money. So they hear about the egg, and then they hear Ash say Aerodactyl, because he thinks an Aerodactyl might come from the egg, and decide that they should steal the egg.
Well, Aerodactyl's probably the best guess, because they found it, in that episode.
You had the best guess, because you can literally hatch an Aerodactyl from an egg. That's a thing that you can do in the game, so that makes more sense. So they decide to dress as, maidens or something.
Egg maidens.
Egg maidens. So when Ash and Co leave, the restaurant, they come up to them with baskets full of eggs, because eggs are common knowledge things that have happened since the first episode that we all know about, offering to sell them to Ash and Co. And Ash and Co are like, no, we've already got the one egg, so no thank you. So they accidentally they purposefully knock the egg out of Brock's hand and then throw their eggs on the ground to hide the real egg, which Meowth has stolen. They then reveal themselves. Instead of running away and letting them try and find the egg, they go, by the way, we're Team Rocket, we've got your egg actually, so none of these are fake. But they start to do the motto, and then, a couple sentences into it, they see that Ash and Co are just ignoring them, and they're on the ground is this the egg? Is this the egg? And everyone they lift up shakes and hatches, and it's some of them have notes in there, some of them have little, things, but not actual stuff. They're all jokes.
One of them has a tongue.
Yes, and one of them has a tiny bat demon.
One of them's just a piece of paper with a sad face on it.
So, Team Rocket run away with the egg, and they go to a little shack, and James wants to eat it, which I think is kind of weird, because it's clearly a Pokemon egg.
Well, they eat Farfetch'd.
Yes.
So a Pokemon egg is just an egg.
True. But Meowth says no, how dare you, and stuff, and gets really angry at him. And then takes the egg himself and spends time with it to keep it warm. So it's bathing with it and sitting on it and curling up with it in bed at night. It's so cute. I think it's the best, because Meowth is just the best in this episode.
Yeah, Meowth is the best.
So they've basically abandoned Ash and Co. But to make the plot happen, what they do is Ash and Co find a trail of eggs that have been dropped on the floor. And I'm like, no, this is stupid. Team Rocket threw all of their eggs at Ash and Co. Why would they conveniently have a trail of eggs, apart from the fact that Ash and Co need to find Team Rocket?
I didn't even think about that plot hole. That makes no sense.
But, they do. They find the shack that they're in, and then everybody calls out a Pokemon to use.
They all call out the flying types. Well, the flying types, except 2 of them aren't flying types.
One's a rock and one's a star.
I can't get over the fact that Geodude can levitate.
Why not? So does Goldeen, to be fair.
Goldeen doesn't levitate.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
It didn't in Pikachu's Vacation.
I'm thinking of the games then, maybe. But yeah, so they send them in through the window of the shack, so they burst into the shack, and Pidgeotto steals the egg back from Meowth. Team Rocket sends out their Pokemon, and Weezing uses Smokescreen, and it just turns into this comedy routine of everybody gets the Pokemon egg, and then it gets knocked out of their hands, and somebody else catches it, and it gets knocked out of their hands, and it gets passed to everybody.
Oh, what hilarious antics.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
I think my favourite part of this bit, though, is when Brock gets hit, because his eyes open for a split second. So it's confirmed that Brock actually has eyes.
He has eyes anyway.
Yeah, but they can actually open. We've seen them open now for a split second. I can't think of any other time he's opened his eyes.
I'm sure it's happened before when they've been shocked by something.
I don't think so. But at least no one turned to stone.
So Pidgeotto uses
Flap, flap, flap.
Flap attack to get rid of the smoke, and then the egg just gets knocked out of Ash's hands. We think it's going to fall to the ground, and Pikachu catches it and says, yay, Pikachu caught it.
Because Pikachu is much better than Ash at everything.
Ash takes the egg off Pikachu, and then the egg starts to glow and wobble and hatch, and everybody's super excited, and then Misty out of nowhere just steals the egg off Ash.
She just comes in and says, I'm fine too.
I'm also here, and just takes the egg, and then the egg hatches.
And it's Togepi.
We don't know what this Pokemon is yet, even though it says Togepi.
No, it says like, Togepi.
We don't know what it is, and it sees Misty, and it's really happy. And then they do the token thing where Pikachu electrocutes Team Rocket.
I do like that Team Rocket just comes over and celebrates that the baby Pokemon's been born, though.
Yeah, it's quite cute. They're like, oh, yeah, look, it's a little baby. It's so cute. It's been born. And they're like, no, wait. We forgot that we're your enemy and we're fighting right now. And then like they get electrocuted by Pikachu, and Ash and Co run away. And they're on a bench by a pond, and Misty's playing with the new Pokemon, and Ash uses his Pokedex to check the data, and it says that it's Togepi, and they don't know anything else about it. And I'm like, well, they could have known that from just listening to it talk, because it says Togepi.
It doesn't. It says Togepi!
I realised that this is why Ash went to the Poké Center at the start, for no reason other than they had to find a way for Ash to be able to know about the Pokemon, because I'm pretty sure he's used the Pokedex before on the egg, and it says they don't know what it is.
It's just a complete and utter coincidence that they happen to get Pokedex upgrade today of all days.
And it can tell you about specifically just the egg.
About this Pokemon from a new region that doesn't exist.
And then everybody starts bickering about who will get to keep Togepi, and it's like, okay, this is weirdly selfish now. You know, you could work as a team, but everyone's like, no, it's my Pokemon. No, it's my Pokemon. And then Ash says, everyone should fight to get Togepi. Meowth turns up as well and says, you know, I raised Togepi for a while and cared for it a lot, which, to be fair, Meowth did.
There was a whole montage and everything.
And then they go and start a fight about it, and they start a little tournament. And that says that they're all going to fight each other. And Meowth says that Jesse and James can't fight because they didn't care for it, which is, to be fair, is true. I thought that was quite cute. And then they respect Meowth's wishes and they sit down.
Reluctantly.
But then Meowth's like, oh no, I haven't got your Pokemon. Can I use yours? And they're like, no, you were mean to us. You got us ejected from this tournament, so no, you can't. And he's like, oh no, wait, what? Oh wait, I'm a Pokemon. I can also fight. I'm like, yay, Meowth fighting, because I like Meowth fighting.
Then it takes it one step further, because in the battles itself, Meowth acts out both the part of trainer and Pokemon.
Which is kind of funny.
I found it really funny, because it's so ridiculously stupid. It's just the sort of dumb humour I like.
So the first match is Meowth versus Onix, which I was like, oh god, that's really unfair, and Meowth's clearly going to lose.
You haven't said which Pokemon Meowth sends out yet.
Okay, Meowth sends out Meowth, so it's Meowth's Meowth versus Onix, Brock's Onix. So Meowth tries his best to defeat Onix, and it doesn't seem to be working. And then randomly, there's just 2 buckets of water for no reason other than they want Meowth to win, and they can't think of a better way apart from Rock is weak to water. Why are there 2 buckets of water in this like weird Colosseum-esque thing?
I don't know.
That's a genuine question. I'd love to know why. There's no reason for them to be there, and they're like just 2 full buckets of water.
Maybe they're there for mopping the floors later.
Maybe they're there for plot.
That's probably it.
It's literally just plot. It's just like there's just 2 buckets of water. Meowth throws the buckets of water at Onix and then scratches, and it wins because water basically weakens Rock, which is great. So Meowth wins the first round. So the next round is Ash versus Misty, which is Bulbasaur versus Psyduck, even though that's not who she wanted to send out. Misty says to attack with like headbutts and stuff so that Psyduck can get a headache. And Ash uses actual strategy this time and decides that he won't attack to cause headaches. So instead he gets Bulbasaur to lick Psyduck, and Psyduck starts laughing, and then tickles Psyduck until he just retreats back into his Pokeball because he doesn't like it. Because he's squeamish, which I thought was really cute, because it's basically anti-battling. It's like, this is fighting, but it's not fighting, because like we don't want to actually fight, so instead we're just gonna tickle him until he gives up. And I thought that was really cute.
It was a cute battle.
It was, but once again, Misty's not allowed to have an actual battle.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's now just comedy again.
All of Misty's Pokemon just get neglected because Psyduck butts in all the time.
And then the next round is Ash versus Meowth's Meowth. Meowth has a little speech about how he's not going to give up because he wants to win for Togepi. And then Pikachu just rests its tail on Meowth's head and then electrocutes and wins. And it's like, oh, that's the end.
That's how it always goes.
And then Ash wins, because Ash always wins all the time, because why wouldn't he? And he goes to claim Togepi, but Togepi goes to Misty. So this basically renders the entire episode moot, because anything they did there was for no reason.
And miraculously, the Pokédex has gained more information about Togepi, and now knows that Togepi imprints on the first person it sees.
It didn't decide to say that at the start, and Togepi didn't go and see anybody at all, and wasn't like it happily sat there and watched them do the fight. It wasn't like, actually no, I want my mum because she's over there. Instead, it was like, oh, let's just let this entire plot happen. And then the episode ends with Misty having Togepi.
We get the answer to the episode-old question: who gets to keep Togepi?
Yeah, it's Misty, even though Ash really wanted it.
But screw Ash. He didn't earn that Pokemon.
No, he did not. But he wanted it.
Of course he did.
He wanted to get Togepi.
Because this episode is all about Ash going out and getting new Pokemon and badges. That's what they set out to do at the start of this episode before randomly deciding to talk about the egg. They were discussing like, well, we can go to Cinnabar Island. And then Ash just goes, hey Brock, what are you doing with that egg? That's basically how the conversation went.
Cinnabar Island, yes, plot. Oh my god, it's happening. No, let's just look at this little bit of sidetracking stuff we can do. Okay, so what was your favourite character and thing?
My favourite character is absolutely Meowth.
Yeah, mine is exactly the same.
He's just really funny in this episode. And I loved it when he became his own trainer.
Well, there was him, he like really cared for the egg, and it was nice to see him not being evil, but also like he had this spirit of just like, I'm going to fight for Togepi because I need I want to care for Togepi. And it was just nice to see Meowth not being this Meowth that's right. It was really cute.
Yeah, it's nice to have a bit more focus on the third member of Team Rocket.
And also just Meowth like bathing with an egg and like curling up in a bed with an egg. It's so cute. It's got a little happy face. Overall thoughts?
It's filler, but I still really enjoyed it.
It's not filler, but it is. Like, it's soft filler. Like, it's filler, but it's got such a small amount of story relevant stuff, which is the whole thing about Togepi, the egg they got a couple episodes which they haven't mentioned has now hatched. Like, that's the tiniest bit. Like, there's just nothing else to the episode. It's a waste of time, essentially. Well, it literally is a waste of time because they spend all their time fighting and stuff, but that doesn't equate to anything because Togepi imprinted on Misty.
It's all completely pointless, but I still enjoyed it because it was a really funny episode.
I thought it was okay. I mean, it was pointless, but I felt like everybody became really selfish and, they didn't really care about what Togepi actually wanted. They were like, oh no, I want the Togepi. I want this. So it once again became, I don't care about the Pokemon. It's, I need to add this to my collection. And I was like, no, that's not, no. Maybe if they're doing what most people do when they try to see what loves them the most. Like if you get a dog and you want to see if the dog loves you the most, you just put it in the middle of the room and you sit at either end of the room and be like, come here, you love me more. And then the dog goes to like whichever one you feel it loves the most. If they'd done that with Togepi, it would have been better. Then, oh no, I'll fight, and if I win, I'll keep the Togepi even though we don't know which one it loves us, which of us it loves the most.
But that wouldn't fill an episode. I mean, they barely filled it this way.
They could have done so much. Well, they had to spend that time having Ash go have a phone call.
And then they had the whole, let's chase after Team Rocket because they have the egg.
Okay, so question, who do you think deserved the egg?
It's between Brock and Meowth because they're the ones that really cared for it and looked after it.
Yeah, okay. I've got Meowth for mine because I think Meowth deserves it because he actually showed genuine affection to the egg. Brock kind of just had the egg in his bag and sometimes we'd get it out and wipe it. Meowth took baths with the egg and cared for it and smiled at it and was really happy with the egg. And I was like, that's actual affection. He doesn't know what's in there, but he just cares about it. Jesse and James wanted the egg to just hatch and see what's in there. Misty and Brock didn't care for the egg at all until they found out that there's a potential Pokemon in there. Misty basically, only reason it likes Misty because she stole it from Ash at the last second and it imprinted. Ash only wants the egg because there's a new Pokemon in there and he wants the Pokemon to add to his team and then to release 6 episodes later because it needs to go and live with, I don't know, its family or whatever. So I think Meowth deserves to have a Pokemon.
I don't think Togepi would fit in with Team Rocket's lifestyle though.
Maybe, don't know that.
Togepi would just be a burden to them.
That's a fun thing though, it could be good. I mean, they've already got Psyduck, which is a burden.
Yeah, but that's Ash and Co. They don't have proper things to do. I'm assuming that Team Rocket is paid for what they do, which is fail. There is one joke from James where he just says it's an outstanding tradition that they fail at everything they try to do.
Yes, it is, and to be fair, where's the lie?
But honestly, I think everyone in the tournament had a claim to Togepi. They all had a valid reason for why they should have Togepi. Ash found the egg, so it's Ash's egg, really. Brock cared for the egg. Togepi likes Misty the most, and Meowth just really looked after the egg a lot as well. So they all have a reason.
I think the only one that really matters there is that Togepi likes Misty. That's the only person who should care for it.
That's the reason they went with at the end.
But the only reason that it likes her is because it hatched in front of her because she stole the egg off Ash.
But that's the way it is. Misty's been pushy all episode. She pushed into the phone call. It's just, she wants the limelight for a change. She's feeling neglected by the viewers. But at least Togepi's now in the show. I like Togepi. Togepi's cute.
Cool. Anything else about this episode, or can we move on to the other one?
At least someone got a new Pokemon.
Yeah, someone got an egg. It hasn't got any better. It's literally just like, okay, the top of the egg hatched and like its head came out, but then also it just also got feet and arms, but you don't see where they came from.
But it's a Pokemon, and I'm sure it'll be very effective in battle.
I'm sure it'll be the best.
The second episode we are watching this time is My Sister's Keeper.
Tai and the kids are wandering along a desert road when Kari decides to activate her crest of plot and collapses. They all take her to a nearby city made up of every major city in the world. Tai and Izzy set out to find some medicine for her, but unwittingly reveal their location to Machinedramon, who uses his army to hunt the kids down. After realising that every time he logs into the digital world with his laptop, he's revealing his location to Machinedramon, Izzy sets about hiding themselves so that Machinedramon can't find them. In response, he initiates a plan to level the city, ending it with him blasting the kids down to a dark pit under the city.
Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon.
So it starts off with them walking down the desert road, and every so often Kari coughs. Because do you reckon Kari might be sick?
I think Kari might be slightly sick. I mean, every time we see her, she's slightly sick.
I mean, it keeps looking at her, and then she coughs, and then it goes back to the conversation, and then it goes back to Kari, and she coughs. I think she might be sick, Sam.
But instead of being like, hey guys, I actually feel a bit sick. Oh, maybe they can help me. Oh, we'll help you, Kari. Well, maybe one of the bigger Digimon can carry you. No, what they're going to do is they're going to walk along a boiling hot desert road, and then she just collapses. But yeah, Kari says that she's suffering because she didn't want to let anyone down. I'm like, okay, but not telling them that you're ill will put you into worse danger, which is going to let them down even more. That's not how not letting people down is. If you say to them, I'm not well, they'll be like, okay, well, we can help you. You're not going to let them down.
If you collapse on the floor and become a real burden, then it's a problem.
Yeah, I know. Imagine like if she had just like not told anybody that she's unwell and she just physically collapses to the floor and is unable to move. Imagine how much of a problem that would be for them. Oh, wait, she does that.
Oh dear.
Oh no. So some of the Digimon leave to find a place to go, and I don't know how they didn't see the city when they were walking.
It's in the distance.
Kabutorimon returns and says that he's found like a place they can go to, and he flies them to what looks like a city, but it's got landmarks from every major city in the world.
Like the Arc de Triomphe and the Colosseum.
But it's all like smushed together, and it's kind of cool. And Tai mentions references, I think it's Epcot in America or Universal Studios. I've been there, but I was 10. That's 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah, he just says it's like that theme park in Florida, which could be one of many theme parks in Florida.
They've referenced a real-world location, which is cool.
It's a small world after all.
There's also a shot of Tai on Kabutorimon's back, and his hair's flapping around, and his hair is like 3 times the normal size. It's huge.
I swear his hair was bigger than normal throughout the whole episode.
It just seems like he's just got giant hair for no reason, but it's strange.
Is it bigger than normal, or am I just noticing it more?
No, it just seems like he's got big hair.
He does have ridiculous hair.
So they land at like this weird. Oh, they land at this large house mansion thing.
I noticed something very weird about this house. It looks like the roof is flashing rainbow colours. I don't know if that was just my DVD, but the roof was flashing rainbow colours.
Maybe it's got like reflective surface on it or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just aesthetic.
No, it was like disco lights for the house roof.
Oh, I didn't notice that, but I could see that happening. So they go in there, and then like the next shot is it's from the inside of a drawer being opened. You can see it's full of stuff, and Izzy says that the cupboards are empty, and it's like, well no. Like, that drawer there is full of what looks like bottles of stuff, and then the cupboard, the cupboard that Izzy's looking in is full of plates and jugs.
It's empty.
They're empty. There's absolutely nothing in there.
But they find some pills.
Yeah, they find a box of medicine, but they open it up and it's basically just the box. There's nothing else actually in there.
Because that actually is empty. That's what empty means.
So Tai and Izzy decide that they're going to leave Sora, Kari, and TK there. TK says that he wants to come along, and he's like, no, you're the last line of defense. And I'm not like, I do feel like that's actually like he potentially saved their lives, because like later on the episode, just going to jump forward, he becomes Angemon and he saves everybody there, like because there's a missile that flies towards Tai and Izzy, and he saves them with that. But I also feel like he used Angemon to essentially get everybody out of the house, which I think was good. So leaving TK there potentially saved everybody's life.
It was a good call. They didn't need to come along.
No. Also, he's smaller and he wouldn't have been able to run as far.
So they leave Mom and the kids behind.
Leaves Mom and the kids behind to find some medicine, and they find like a red British phone box for some reason. And I didn't know that British phone boxes had like is it LAN ports?
They do, apparently.
Apparently, you can hack into a phone box, use one of those and just connect whatever you've got upon your person to it for some reason.
It's the digital world, it's weird.
Okay, I'll accept that. Then again, he also logged into a tree, and a battery, so I shouldn't be complaining.
One thing I did appreciate here, though, was that they had the same music from when they found the phone booths in episode 2 playing again.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
The phone booth music.
But yeah, Izzy hacks the system and gets a map of the entire city and can locate all the medical facilities. And that's really cool because we haven't seen Izzy do that since essentially the maze, I think it is. I mean, he does things. Like, I think Izzy's one of the most interesting characters of this season because he does a lot of tech stuff. Like, anytime they need to be a bit more tactical, he just breaks out his laptop and just basically hacks the digital world.
He accesses the maps and things.
He does. So he gets a map of the city, including, like, it highlights all the medical facilities, like the hospitals and pharmacies and stuff. But also, like, it then cuts to Machine Dramon, who is the next big bad they've got to fight. And he's also seeing the map, which is really cool because, like, that's an interesting plot point of, like, everything the gang can see, the enemy can see. So he decides to send out this army, which is cool as well.
He's basically a military commander.
Yeah, basically, he has this army of, like, quite militarized Digimon, like Tankmon, Mechanorimon, and Megadramon and Gigadramon. And he sends them out instead of fighting himself. So he's up there being tactical. So he sends them out to go and blow up all the medical facilities. Tai and Izzy find a hospital, and Tai had, like, we've seen him once before have a flashback to when Kari's sick, but we see him have another flashback to when Kari was sent to a hospital before, but we only see that for, like, a brief moment.
It's just Kari going in the back of an ambulance.
Like, you know, like it's no problem. Izzy says that he wishes Joe was there because his dad's a doctor, so maybe he would know what medicines to get for Kari. I think, yeah, that's quite good. I'm glad they brought that up because obviously Joe having this family history with doctors, it would have been cool to see him be there being like, okay, well, we need this thing and this thing and this thing. But they settle on the mildest child paracetamol or something like that.
Something like that. Izzy's Google search doesn't help much.
If you were going to go for something for someone who's ill, you find a thing that can help them. You'll probably go for the weakest one, because if you go for the strongest one, you know, could really hurt them. Like if they had got like morphine or something for Kari and just completely knocks her out for like 6 days. But no, they found like the child medicines, and they found one of the weakest ones of that, which is good because she's a rather small child.
I don't get why the medicine's real in this place though and not in the houses.
I think it's because it's data. These places are based on data of places, so like it's based on a hospital and it's based on the hospital's inventory, so they go, okay, these things are here. With a house, it's like, oh, you can go to a house and they'll be like in a medicine cupboard, or they've got these things in there. So plot basically, because if they found the pills in the house, then they wouldn't have to go and do this plot. They did the thing and they went to the place and they got the medicine for Kari.
But Machine Dramon's forces are closing in again.
Well, Izzy hacks into the hospital to find out what they've got inventory-wise, which also alerts Machine Dramon and his army.
For the second time.
So he has his army go specifically to that one hospital to defeat them, which is cool. They start to attack the hospital, and the gang escape out of a window to go and hide.
They hide in like a tall building first, and then Izzy checks the network again.
He hacks into the network to see where the enemies are, and then Machine Dramon sends them after them again, and Izzy notices that all the enemies like stop what they're doing when the second he logs in and turn to advance towards them. And that's when Izzy figures out that Machine Dramon can also see what Izzy's seeing by tracing his computer connection.
Third time's the charm. Finally works it out. They log out and run away at this point.
Yep, Agumon evolves to Greymon, and they just bust out a window and start running away. They attack Megadramon, I think, but it cuts to Piedmon, who is bored, just watching Netflix, chilling out. He's in his like evil lair with a giant micro telescope watching, which is weird because they're on Spiral Mountain, which is below them, because that's at the top of the mountain on a plateau. But the way I see it is like the telescope doesn't actually point at the things. It's basically there as a representation of being able to see long distances. So he's watching everything that's happening, and he's upset because Machine Dramon's going to win, and he wishes that he could have his turn, which kind of justifies why they don't just all run at them at once. Like Piedmon wants this game of everybody go out in strength order and they get stronger and stronger, and he gets to see how far they get, which I really enjoy because it also matches Piedmon's personality.
I'm glad they put in this little glimpse of Piedmon.
Yeah, it's nice just to remind us that he's there and he's constantly watching what they're doing. He's learning from the gang and what they do. So as they jump out of that window that Megadramon was in, Greymon evolves to Metal Greymon and carries the kids to safety, where they go and hide. They hide in a church, and Izzy's sad because he basically let them down and he calls them to be followed. And Tai gets really mad at him and explains how Kari got sick before and basically dragged her out because he wanted to go play soccer. and she wasn't very well, so she was home, and he had to look after her. So instead of being like, I'll stay home and make sure she's okay, he was like, you're not that sick, come with me and we'll go play some football. She gets really sick and she gets like pneumonia, I think it is. Ty's like full on crying when he's telling Izzy this, which I thought was a nice little moment, because it's like, this is like a personal problem that he has with himself, that it's where he's been selfish before and it's really bothered him, and it really upsets him whenever Kari gets sick, because it's like he sometimes blames himself for it.
It's good to see genuine emotion coming from a character, because it's something that you don't get in shows like Pokemon, for example.
Well, all they do in like Pokemon and stuff, and they do it in Digimon as well, when a character's like upset, they do it shows them talking like or shouting with their fist clenched. But in this, like, Tai is like full on crying, like tears streaming down his face, and it sort of makes Izzy react to it, and he's like, actually, you know what? No, I'm going to do something about this. I caused the problem, I'll get us out of it. And he just decides to mask their location. Oh, is he getting into slightly illegal things at an early age? Like, this is why he's going to become like an internet mogul when he's older.
He's a super hacker.
He is. So he confuses their location on the map, and they can't see where they're going. Like, Machine Drumon's army can't tell exactly where they are. So they escape, which is real good. But Machine Dramon gets bored of not doing anything and initiates Plan Eliminate, which is a bad pun, and I hate this plan.
It's a fine plan.
It's not, but the pun is eliminate, but it's not even like they say it once. He says initiate plan eliminate, and then Hurugurumon says, why not initiate plan eliminate? And he says, you are disobeying me, initiate plan eliminate. And then Hurugurumon says to all the units to initiate plan eliminate, and then the next Hurugurumon says, yes, initiate plan eliminate. So it's like, we get the joke. It wasn't funny the first time, it's no longer funny 5 times in 10 seconds.
I get that it's for a joke, but it also kind of works, because that's how military chains of command work. They just pass down the commands down the line, so it makes sense that they repeat it several times.
It's also dumb. But yeah, I like the plan, which is just, the plan is to level the city completely.
It's just send out the nukes.
Yeah, just blow it all up.
It'll definitely work.
Yeah, it'll do the job. So Tai and Izzy managed to get their way back to the house, and they're stood outside the house, and then just a missile drops on it and it blows up, and I found it really funny for some reason. It's like, it's almost parodied in a lot of things. Like, you see a lot of movies where they think they're safe and they return to the safe place, and then the entire place gets just blown up. And I'm like, I don't know, I just found it funny.
I was more shocked by it than anything.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't remember this episode very well. So watching it again, I wasn't sure what was actually going to happen. So when they just blew up the house, I was like, oh, wow.
Wait, no, this isn't as good as I thought it would be. Oh, maybe they're all dead now. But yeah, we have a couple of seconds of manufactured tragedy, because it's really sad that this has happened. But another missile flies straight towards them, and out of nowhere, Andromon is there, and it essentially saves them. It destroys the missile, which is quite good, because Andromon's like a champion level, and they're a ultimate level.
Well, he's a champion with the strength of an ultimate, because he's special.
So everybody escaped, and like I said earlier, I'm really glad that they escaped. Like, I'm glad they left TK there, because TK basically saved everybody, and that's glossed over, but at least they all got saved, which is good.
So Mum and the kids are fine.
They're all saying like that they're really glad they're all saved and everything's really good. But then Machine Dramon appears out of nowhere, and he's really upset, and he uses Giga Cannon to blow up a building, and then just suddenly there's just an abyss below them, and they all fall into the abyss. That's Machine Dramon's being like, goodbye, Digidestined, ha 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 ha, evil.
I find Machine Dramon really interesting.
I like Machine Dramon. I think he's my favourite, but he also gets a lot of weight added to him because he's the villain in Digimon World. So.
I mean, it's interesting how he's so robotic and calculating, but then he still has an evil laugh.
Yeah, and then the episode ends with them falling down to their doom.
And they all die.
So, any more notes?
There was a really cool transition at one point when Machine Dramon bit down on the screen.
Oh, that sounds real cool. I didn't notice that. I think I was writing notes at the time, but that sounds really good.
Yeah, basically to transition back to Machine Dramon's room, it just showed his jaw closing over the screen. And that was a really cool way of doing that.
That is cool.
And there was one line from Tai, which is my favourite thing in this episode, because the delivery is just so bad, honestly. And it's when Tai is apologising to Izzy, and he just says, I'm sorry, Izzy. I'm
so sorry.
And that was just the best delivery. You could not deliver any better.
Anything else?
It was kind of annoying that the Mechanorimon started chanting in this episode, or doing some sort of military march, because they weren't doing that in the flashbacks.
Yeah, no, they were quiet and they didn't talk in the flashback.
Yeah, and it's kind of annoying, the chants. It's dumb. And the other thing that is just kind of bad, really, is that Kari's entire character in this episode is just, I'm a martyr.
It's just, I'm sick.
I am sick for everyone else. I will take your sins.
It's the anime trope of the suffering girl, of this like, oh, I'm so sick, but I don't want to hurt, I don't want to stop you what you're doing, but I'm going to get even sicker, so it will slow us down. What was your favourite thing in this episode? Really? Just,
It was hilarious. I'm sorry, Izzy. He just goes from insanely angry to really upset and apologetic. It's like that one sentence.
My favourite thing is the tactics that get used in this episode. Like, Izzy is super useful in this. He uses his computer to find, like, the map of the city, the medical facilities, what they've got in there, like the inventory, so they can find something to use for Kari. And then he also, like, figures out, after, like, 4 attempts, that, like, they know where we are because of what I'm doing. And then he finds a solution to it. It's, like, it's really good. Like, that's tactics. Because normally in episodes, it's just hit the hardest. But with this, it's like, I will use some actual tactics to try and win this situation. Beat the situation, because they're facing literally an army, so and it's just 2 kids.
Yeah, it's much more of a military combat situation than just straight up strongest attack wins. Whoever believes the most will be victorious.
Whoever believes in their friends the most. It's like, no, they have bombs. They will destroy buildings.
Yeah, like Machine Drumon's whole militaristic approach.
Overall thoughts?
It's a pretty good episode.
Yeah, I remember really liking this when I was younger, and I really like this episode now. It's one of my favourite episodes, I think, and I think it's because of the tactics and the fact it is Machine Dramon, and like Machine Dramon is like one of my favourite enemies, and like he has an army which is different, because normally like with Metal Sea Dramon and with Puppetmon, they had like kooky sidekicks. Like Metal Sea Dramon had Scorpiomon in one episode, who was doing everything for clams. Puppetmon had Cherrymon, who had that Marlon Brando voice and stuff. It was kind of like, they're kind of kooky, which kind of not detract, like, they're funny, yeah, but like, with this, the villains were like, our job is to go and hunt these things down for our boss, and the boss is just like, yeah, just level the place, just blow everything up. There's no, like, puns, like, the big pun in this is eliminate, but even then, like, I don't like it because it's bad, but it is kind of a good bad, but like, that's probably the only real joke that the enemies have. Apart from that, it's mostly just like battle tactics and them trying to find where they need to go and places getting blown up. So I really enjoyed this episode.
I've not got much else to say, really. It was a good episode.
Yeah, I quite liked it. I thought it was really nice. Now it's time for Mono a Mono, where we talk about the similarities and differences in these episodes.
So, let's start with our monsters of the week. Mine was Meowth because he's really cute, and he looks after an egg, and he has a personality in this episode, and he's really funny.
Is that Meowth or his Pokemon?
That's Meowth the trainer. Meowth the Pokemon was a bit less interesting.
Yeah, he only basically fought in this.
Yeah, he only really agreed with whatever Meowth told him to do.
Yeah, which, you know, like, Meowth should get some more personality instead of just being Meowth. Just listen to what Meowth says. Yeah,
Meowth's his own Pokemon. He should be allowed to do what he wants.
I genuinely enjoyed Meowth. He's really nice. He's like the best bit of this episode.
Yeah, he's definitely the best part of the Pokemon episode. What was your monster of the week?
It was Meowth, but I kind of really want to say Machine Dramon as well, because talking about him now, I really enjoy it. I think he might be my favourite Dark Master. No, not I think. He is my favourite Dark Master. A lot of the weight that, like, the reason I like him is because he is the villain from Digimon World 1 and also Next Order, apparently. So I'm excited. He is, for me, if you say a Mega level, if you said Mega, first Digimon I think of is Machine Dramon. And like, I remember its voice, like when it said Giga Cannon, I was like, I always found that really cool. And like, its attack is literally like Giga Cannon. It's like, that's such a Digimon attack name. And it's just fire cannons on his back. There's also like, if you look at Machine Dramon's design and look at Metal Greymon's design, they have so much in common.
Machine Dramon's just made up of parts of other machine Digimon. Like, he's got Andromon skulls for kneecaps.
Yeah, it's just really cool Digimon. I like his design. I mean, it gets so little stuff in this. I think he gets like an episode and a half at best.
Which is kind of a shame.
Yeah, I think he should have had more time. I think they could have paced this episode. Like, if they'd stretched it out a bit, I feel like this is one of the little story arcs where they could have spent more time fleshing it out a bit more. It would have been kind of interesting. But yeah, I genuinely enjoyed Machine Dramon. I like him. I'm excited, but I'm pretty sure this is the only episode I get to say this about. I'm pretty sure he doesn't make it past the next episode.
We'll find out.
We shall find out next week. Cool. Which one do you think had the best storyline?
Digimon.
Yeah, same.
It's easy to pick, really.
Because in Pokemon it's Egg. In this it's, well, Child is sick, which is unfortunate, but there's also a city which is made of a lot of small parts of other cities. And then every time Izzy uses his computer to find out information about this weird place, the enemy finds out where they are.
Which is much more complicated than everyone wants the egg.
It's much more complicated than egg. Oh wait, egg hatched. Well, sort of. It's still an egg.
Just everyone wants egg. That's the plot.
Any similarities?
There's caring for something or someone.
I've got that, yeah. That there's mum and the kids in both of them.
There's also tracking down enemies, because they have to track down Team Rocket, and they track down each other in Digimon.
I only had the one about them caring for something.
Oh. And the other one is the use of computers.
Oh yeah, they do use that. I'm so glad you're on point with these. I had no idea.
They use computers quite differently, though. In Pokemon, computers are pretty much entirely for just communication. But in the episode of Digimon, the computers are more about battle tactics and strategy and knowing where your enemies are.
Cool. Differences?
I forgot to think about that.
I've got a lot. I said that like both shows are vastly different, like different levels plot wise. Like Ash and Co are still on this whimsical adventure, and they've done nothing for like 7 episodes now. They haven't advanced the plot any further, apart from tiny bits. They're just faffing around still, and like Tai and Co are literally like trying to not die.
No. I'm not going to let you call them Tai and Co.
Okay, well the Digi kids, this is literally their biggest. This is their biggest threat yet. One of them's incapacitated. They've been reduced by 3 members. Kari's really ill, so they've left Sora and TK with her to make sure that she's not like defenseless. Izzy and Tai are off like in this strange new place, and they're not just against a mega level; they're against a mega level and an army of ultimates as well. Even like I think Mechanorimon's an ultimate as well.
I think the champions. Megadramon and Gigadramon are ultimates.
Well, still, like it's an army, and it's two kids essentially. And they also like they're just blowing up buildings, so they could be killed at any moment. And like meanwhile, in Pokemon, egg whimsy. It's like just this pointless stuff that's like just doesn't do anything.
It does do something. It answers the question who gets to keep Togepi. That's all it does.
We haven't had any true advancement of the plot, and like it's just so simple. But with Digimon, we've got so much stuff going on. You know, it's all being like everything's dialed up to 11 at the moment. You know. The kids' lives are in danger, the human world's in danger, the digital world's in danger. They've still got 2 more. They're like halfway through this boss rush of 4 increasingly powerful enemies they've got to fight. They're now against one who has a whole army, and they're in a strange place that he knows all the routes to. And it's just so different. So, like, I do feel like Digimon's really going to get a lot of points at the moment. Unless Ash does something relevant to increase it, to forwarding his story, then I think Digimon's pretty much got a win for this season, but we'll see what happens. Unless the episodes are particularly bad or Pokemon's particularly good. Okay, so which episode did you enjoy the most?
I'm going to have to say Digimon.
I completely agree as well.
While Pokemon was funny, Digimon just has so much more with character development.
It's a lot more packed than Pokemon, where they wasted 5 minutes with a phone call and an arbitrary upgrade just so they can scan Togepi. At least in Digimon, there was so much stuff going on. They had like 1 evolution sequence, well 2, Greymon and Metal Greymon. Apart from that, you know, it was just all plot.
Digimon was just jam-packed.
So what's the score? Are we giving it to Digimon?
Yep. So it is 25-23 to Digimon. Join us again next time, where we'll be watching episode 49.
Bulbasaur's Mysterious Garden and The Crest of Light.
You can listen to more of us on SoundCloud, iTunes or Stitcher, where we like getting reviews and comments.
And you can message us via our Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, with the World Thread and email, which are all linked in the show notes.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, and goodbye.
Goodbye, and welcome back to us, I guess.
I'm so happy we're doing this again. I've made a typo here. I've added an O in Misty, so it's Moisty. Why is there an O there? I think I just mistyped, but
She's not breastfeeding Togepi.
Ash tries to claim Togepi, but Togepi goes to Misty because they saw Moisty first. Whoops. It's Moisty! Yeah, a lot happens in this episode.
Quite a lot does happen. And
we talk about Pokemon where they literally just had an egg. But in this one, like, there's a lot of stuff.
Pokemon's plot was just Misty gets Togepi.
No. We can split it down to one word. In this episode of Pokemon, egg. Just egg.
No, because you have to have a verb in a sentence. Misty gets Togepi.
Egg, the egg.
Be egg.
Egg time. Egg time.
No, Misty gets Togepi. But anyway, we're supposed to be talking about Digimon.
you know, maybe one of the bigger Digimon can carry you. No, what they're going to do is they're going to walk along a boiling hot desert road, and then she just collapses.
Sorry, just when you said one of the bigger Digimon can carry her, for some reason my head immediately thought, oh, Gabumon could carry her. And then my head went, oh wait, Gabumon's horn would go straight through Kari's head. So that's not a nice picture.
You could also have, like, Agumon carrying her, or, like, any of the others.
Yeah, but
You could even have one of them evolve. You could even get, like, Garurumon to carry her on his back, but, you know.
No, my brain just jumped to Gabumon with his arm speared through Kari's chin.
It went straight to impalement. Okay.
That's what Resident Evil does.
Were you thinking of Hot Fuzz?
I don't. Yeah, probably.
That one scene at the end with the church tower, the modern church tower.
Yeah.
Oh.